Dear students, now I am going to start fifth chapter, that is magnetism and matter. Hope you would have familiar with the topics of chapter 4. Only then you can understand the upcoming topics which we are going to learn now. One of the most interesting chapters in first volume is chapter 5, because in our childhood we used to play with the magnet and we felt surprised when the magnet is attracted by some other metal or iron, right? So we can understand the concept easily without much imagination. And in chapter 5 we are going to learn topics like behaviors of magnet, its field lines and reason for the earth magnetism. Students, in our class I used to mention so many times that the field leads the world, right? So Tesla play a vital role in terms in the field of magnetic field. Without field we cannot use not even a single wireless device, right? Hope you remember those things. Okay, let us start the lesson. In your NCERT they have given properties of magnetic field lines and discussed some history regarding magnetic properties and the magnetism since 16th century. Hope you remember the basic properties of magnet which you have studied in 10th standard. Okay, just think a minute. What comes about magnet and its property? Okay, surely you can recollect the properties like same poles repel each other and opposite poles attract each other. And the second point is that magnetic field lines can travel from north pole to south pole, and inside the magnet the field lines can travel from south pole to north pole. From this we can conclude that field lines are continuous slope. In chapter 1 we studied the properties for electric field lines similar to this. So many properties are same compared to magnetic field lines and electric field lines. The only different thing is in electric field monopoles only exist, but in magnetic field and magnet dipole can exist. No one can ever separate north pole alone or south pole alone. Okay, so in addition now we are going to learn some more properties regarding numericals and for earth magnetism reason, like that we have to study. So the important point, the field line is tangent to the magnetic field line. Suppose if you want to calculate the magnetic field lines for this point, it should be a tangent line. If you want to calculate for this point, the magnetic field line should be in a tangent. Okay, right? So hope you can understand. Then second point, field strength is proportional to the line density, because now we are going to consider an area here. For this area only two lines are there. If you consider the same area at the poles, the field lines are greater compared to the previous one. So in general you can recollect the points which you studied in 10. The magnetic field strength is more at the poles than any other place. So third point, magnetic field lines never intersect each other. Okay, because if two magnetic fields intersect each other, this is a point, consider this is an intersect point, right? So you know a point can have one direction at a unit time, right, at a time. So if it intersect each other means the point has two directions, one is in this direction and another one is in this direction. So it is not possible in nature. So field lines can never intersect each other. If it intersect mean we cannot use not even a single wireless device. You cannot use your mobile number because your 10-digit number is owned by yourself, right? So field lines can never intersect each other. Those properties are very, very important for numericals also. Now we are going to see a topic, bar magnet as an equivalent solenoid. So from this figure you can understand this is a coil, number of turns, the coil has number of turns. Once I revise the topic which we studied in 4th chapter for your better understanding. N is equal to capital N is equal to capital N by L. where capital N is the total number of turns, right, and divided by unit length. Okay, now we are going to calculate the magnetic field due to this coil on this point P. So due to this coil, we are going to calculate the magnetic field over the point P. So this is the coil center, and this is L, and that is minus L, because the length of the coil is 2L. We consider as 2L. So now what I am going to do is, I am going to assume a length element dx. Listen carefully. Length element dx. From the center, the length element dx is at a distance of x. And from the center, the point P at a distance of r. So you can calculate the distance between the length element and the point is nothing but r minus x, right? R minus x. So in chapter 4, the magnetic field on axis of a circular coil, hope you remember the content, that is dB is equal to mu naught I r square divided by 2 into r square plus x square the whole power 3 by 2, right? So this is magnetic field due to a circular coil. We are going to calculate the magnetic field due to this solenoid on the point P. So for this solenoid, I am going to write the magnetic field. So dB is equal to mu naught I a square, right? So here instead of r I put a, because the radius of the coil, that is the radius of the coil is a. And the wire cross section, the radius of the wire is nothing but r. It is very, very important, small r. So come to the equation, mu naught I a square divided by 2 into, instead of capital R, so in circular loop what we studied, this is r, right, radius of the coil, and the point which we are going to calculate the magnetic field is nothing but x, right? So here what is x? R minus x. From this element dx, the point is separated at a distance is r minus x. So now I am going to put the value of r. Here what is the radius of the coil? Is nothing but a, right? So instead of r square, I am going to put a square plus, instead of x, what I have to do? I have to put r minus x the whole square, the whole power 3 by 2. Hope you can understand. Again I tell, here r is the radius for this circular loop, right? For this coil, we considered the radius of the coil is nothing but a. So instead of r, I have to put a. So a square, here is also a square, plus x is from the center of the coil, the point P is separated at a distance x. In our previous section, that is 4th chapter, we calculated the magnetic field due to circular loop, right? So 2 of a square plus, instead of x, I have to put r minus x, because from this element, from this dx element, here notice, from this dx element, the point P is separated at a distance of r minus x. So r minus x the whole square, the whole power 3 by 2. So for getting total magnetic field, what we have to do? We have to integrate the equation. That is, what is the limit here? Minus L to plus L, right? And one more important thing is, we can calculate the magnetic field for total number of turns, right? Here we studied only one turn, so N is nothing but 1. Capital N is nothing but 1. That is very, very important. You should note the difference. You should know the difference between small and capital N. Small. Again I am telling, small n is nothing but total number of turns per unit length. Capital N is nothing but total number of turns alone. So here if I put 1 means the value is 1, right? The value is 1. So For this equation, I have to include the total number of turns, that is capital N. So we are going to calculate the capital N value. See, from this coil, what is our consideration? We consider only dx. So within the element dx, I am going to calculate the n value. So n, small n is equal to capital N divided by dx. That is very, very important. So I can write dn is equal to n into dx. So here I put dB, right? dB in the sense, for small, that is a partial number of turns, not the total number of turns. For the element dn, we are going to calculate the magnetic field. So I am going to substitute the dn value in the above equation. Minus L2 plus L, that is mu naught I a square. What is the capital N value here? N into dx divided by 2 on the bracket a square plus r minus x the whole square, that is 3 by 2. Okay. So now what we have to do? We have to integrate the value using the limit of minus L to plus L for getting the total magnetic field. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. Here I made a mistake. Already we used the letter R for this distance, right? So we can change the name for radius of the wire. Shall we keep it as R dash instead of R? So instead of R, we can use R dash. Okay. So before integrating the equation, we are going to simplify the denominator value, right? From the diagram, you can see that R is much more greater than R is much more greater than A, because from the dx element, the point P is at a distance of R, right? R is much more greater than A and R is much more greater than X. So you can simplify this denominator value, that is, so instead of a square plus r minus x the whole square, the whole power 3 by 2, what can we do? A square plus r square, because x is negligible, right? From this equation again we can simplify that a square is also smaller value compared to r, right? So the denominator value becomes r square the whole power 3 by 2 gets cancelled. So the resultant of the denominator is r cube alone. So I can simplify the equation, that is this equation. dB is equal to limit over minus L to plus L mu naught I a square n dx divided by 2 r cube, right? So shall we continue in next page? Hope you remember. Copy it. So I continue in next page. So this is our last equation, right? Mu naught I a square n dx by 2 r cube. We can get the constant term outside of the integral, right? So if we integrate dB, the resultant is b. So constant term we can get outside, that is mu I a square n by 2, that is r cube is also constant, minus L to plus L dx. So if we integrate x mean, we can get the value x, right? So x of upper limit L and lower limit minus L. If we substitute the limit, we can get the final equation of 2r cube, that is L minus of minus L. So mu naught I a square n into 2L divided by 2r cube. This 2 and this 2 gets cancelled. So mu naught I a square n divided by r cube. So in fourth chapter we studied magnetic moment is nothing but NIA. It's a very, very important condition. You have to recollect those topics, revise those topics. M is equal to NIA. So M is equal to n is equal to capital N by L, right? That is small n is equal to capital N by 2L. Why I am putting 2L means because in our consideration the length of the solenoid is 2L. That's why we putting a limit L to minus L, right? So from the above equation, from this equation, that is from this equation, I can write n is equal to small n into 2L. So I am going to substitute the value of n here, n into 2L and I, the total current of the solenoid. What is A, capital A, area of the solenoid, right? What is area of the solenoid? Pi A square, and we know A is the radius of the coil. A is the radius of the coil. So M is equal to N 2L I and pi A square. We can get M, we can get pi to the left side of the denominator, right? Pi by M is equal to N into not pi alone, you can get 2 pi to the left side of the denominator, M by 2 pi. The remaining terms N into L into I A square, right? I A square. So consider this is equation B. So here we are going to substitute the value, that is N I. In this equation I missed the term L, so now I am going to put the term L. From this equation I missed this L, so I A square N L. So I can substitute mu naught by R cube. For your convenient, I separated the terms, mu naught by R cube I A square N L. So instead of this value, we can substitute mu naught by 2 pi, right? Sorry, M by 2 pi, magnetic moment by 2 pi. So the relation mu naught M divided by 2 pi R cube. So we have to compare the final equation, that is the final equation, to electric field equation. So in first chapter we studied electric field due to axial point, E axial is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2p by R cube, right? So in fourth chapter what we studied, instead of magnetic moment we can compare electric dipole, instead of magnetic field we can use the term electric field, and instead of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value we can use mu naught by 4 pi, right? So this is the axial equation, electric field due to axial point, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2p by R cube. So we have to compare the equation to this equation, mu naught by 2 pi M by R cube. If we multiply and divide by 2, we can get the equation similar to this. So from this equation, mu naught M into 2, in denominator 2 pi into 2, 4 pi R cube, so which is similar to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2p by R cube. So this is the total magnetic field equation. The equation number is in your NCERT it comes under the heading 5.22, right? Now we are going to see the topic dipole in uniform magnetic field, heading number 5.2.3. So in chapter 1 we have seen the topic which is similar to this one, that is dipole in uniform electric field, right? So the field lines can travel from positive to negative. So what is dipole? Equal and opposite charges separated by a distance 2a. if we throw a dipole over this electric field, the dipole element will align in this direction, right? So already we have seen those topics in our class. So it will align in this manner, which is similar to this diagram. Now we are going to see the same concept in terms of magnetic field. So magnetic field lines can travel from north pole to south pole. Okay, north pole to south pole. If I place a compass over the magnetic field, the compass will align in this manner, right? The north pole will align towards south direction, the south pole will align towards north direction, right? So this is theta. So now you can understand the diagram easily. So field lines can travel from north pole to south pole. If we throw a compass over the magnetic field lines, so this will be north pole and this will be south pole. This is the force direction, right? This is the force direction. So in first lesson, what is our conclusion for this concept? Tau is equal to P cross E, which is equal to PE sin theta. According to electrostatic analogy in 4th chapter, we conclude that P which is similar to the magnetic moment. We can put the value instead of P as M, and instead of electric field we can put the value magnetic field. So now I am going to write the equation for torque, that is dipole in uniform torque due to dipole in uniform magnetic field. Instead of P I am going to write M, that is magnetic moment. Instead of E I am going to write magnetic field. So tau is equal to MB sin theta, right? So I continue from this page. Tau is equal to MB sin theta. So when there is a torque, if I switch off the magnetic field, definitely the torque will attain some restoring torque, right? So tau is equal to MB sin theta, restoring torque, tau is equal to I alpha, but it should be in opposite direction for this torque, right? So in 11th standard in rotational dynamics chapter 5 we have studied tau is equal to I alpha. In general, what is the formula for torque? Fr sin theta. Clear? From this equation we derived tau is equal to I alpha. Hope you remember those concepts. So now we are going to compare these two equations. Tau is equal to MB sin theta is the torque which we generated. For this torque there will be a restoring torque. So I alpha is equal to minus MB sin theta, or you can write minus I alpha is equal to MB sin theta. So for better understanding we can follow this equation, right? So I alpha is equal to minus MB sin theta. Alpha is equal to angular acceleration. Angular acceleration is nothing but d omega by dt, right? So d omega by dt, I can write d omega by dt as d square theta by dt square. Angular velocity by time is nothing but angular displacement by time. Acceleration is equal to angle d square theta by dt square. So here if we consider theta is very small, in the sense according to small angle approximation sin theta is equal to theta, right? So the equation becomes I, instead of alpha, what we have to do, d square theta by dt square, which is equal to minus mb theta. So the equation is similar to the SHM equation. SHM equation in 11th oscillation, in the chapter oscillation we studied SHM equation. So what is the general condition for SHM? D square x by dt square is equal to minus omega square x. So you can compare these two equations. So instead of d square x by dt square, here d square theta by dt square, and instead of x, because in one dimension we should mention x, but in angular concept we should mention theta, right? So we can compare the equation. Omega square is equal to mb by I, because we can get this I to the right side of the denominator. Omega square minus this minus and this minus gets cancelled. Omega square is equal to mb by I. So from this equation I can write b is equal to omega square I by m, and from the basic I can write omega is equal to 2 pi by t. So equation name as A. So I am going to put the value of omega in this equation, so named as b. So b is equal to 4 pi square, because omega square, right? Omega is 2 pi by t, then omega square is equal to 4 pi square by t. We can substitute the remaining term, that is I by m. So this is the magnetic field value, dipole in uniform magnetic field. So here, it is t square, right? So from the first lesson we derived potential energy for the dipole in external field. What is the value of potential energy? U is equal to minus P cos theta, right? We derived in very first lesson. So similarly we are going to, in the same way we are going to calculate the potential energy for this magnetic field, that is for this condition. U is equal to minus m. Instead of P I can write m, instead of E I can write B. So U is equal to minus mb cos theta. Clear? So we derived the magnetic field value due to dipole in uniform magnetic field, that is B is equal to 4 pi square I divided by t square m, and the potential energy we derived is U is equal to minus mb cos theta. Clear? Students, now we are going to discuss about the topic electrostatic analog. So we studied about electric field and the magnetic field and the properties of the electric field and the properties of the magnetic field, right? And we calculated the magnetic field for the circular coil, and we derived torque due to dipole in an external field, both electric field and the magnetic field. We can compare our observation from the chapter 1 and the chapter 4. The parameter B do the same thing as like electric field. Similarly, the parameter M can do the same thing as like dipole moment. In last video we studied that instead of E we can put B, right? So instead of P we can put M, and we know already we studied E axial is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 P by R cube. E equatorial is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught P by R cube. Hope you know the meaning of this minus. This minus indicates that the electric field and the dipole direction, that is, this is net electric field, right? The net electric field is in the opposite direction of the dipole direction. So we can compare these two equations to this thing, these two equations. So B equatorial, instead of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught we can put mu naught by 4 pi, up instead of P we can plot M, and denominator R cube is same, because what is mean by R? From the point, that is this is even we can take it in a horizontal way, right? This is A or this is minus A. From the center of the dipole the point P is at a distance of R. So in the same way here the same R cube has the same meaning. Likewise, we can calculate the axial field of a bar magnet, that is BA is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2m by r cube. So in your textbook they compare the parameter which obtained from electrostatic and magnetism, right? So dipole moment Pm and the equatorial field for a short dipole, that is P by 4 pi epsilon r cube minus mu naught m by 4 pi r cube. Like that we can compare. Dear students, now we are going to see the topic Gauss law for magnetism. So you know the importance of Gauss law in electricity. In chapter 1, without Gauss law we could not solve not even a single numericals in terms of direction of electric field, right? In same way we are going to see the Gauss law for magnetism, and hope you are familiar with the Gauss law for electricity, right? What is the formula for Gauss law in the electric field? Flux is equal to E dot ds, so flux is equal to E ds cos theta, right? And the simplified formula for Gauss law is nothing but flux equal to Q by epsilon naught. Like this we are going to calculate the magnetic flux for magnetism, that is flux equal to B dot dA, which is always 0. So see the statement, the net magnetic flux out of any closed loop, out of any closed surface is 0. So listen carefully. What I am going to do is, I am going to assume an area here. This is my area. Just imagine, within this area we don't have any charge, right? So flux is equal to 0, right? Because we don't have any charge. If Q is equal to 0, flux is also 0. So at the same time we can compare one more thing. Two field lines are entering into this area, and definitely these two lines should leave the area, right? Now we are going to assume an area here. We don't bother about how small the volume. So if you consider, if you look this area, it has some charge, right? It has some charge value. So definitely for this area we can write flux value, that is flux is equal to Q by epsilon naught, because it has, inside the area there is a charge, right? But here there is no line entered into this area, only the lines are leaving this area. That is, we know electric field lines can travel from positive charge to negative charge, but so here I am going to draw the same area. From the plus charge, the field lines are leaving the area. There is no line entered into this area. So come to this diagram. I am going to calculate the flux value for magnetism, that is BdA, okay, which is equal to 0. The statement already we discussed, the net magnetic flux out of any closed surface is 0. Now I am going to consider the area here. Here the number of field lines entered into this area is equal to the lines leaving the area, right? Two field lines are entered this area, the same two lines is leaving the area. So here the flux is equal to 0. Like this we can compare these two conditions, right? So these two conditions, flux is 0. In the same way, what we did here, we consider the area on the charge. Like we are going to consider the area on the pole, right? So listen carefully. Inside the area, 4 field lines are entered into this area. The same 4 lines should leave the area, right? Because magnetic field lines can travel from north pole to south pole. So only in magnetism, that is like in bar magnet, the amount of line entered into this area should equal the line should equal the number of lines leaving the area. So the net magnetic flux out of any closed surface is 0. Students, now we are going to see the topic earth magnetism under magnetic declination. So the image is taken from your NCERT. Okay. So this is the axis of rotation. That is, earth is rotating with respect to some axis, right? So that axis of rotation is NG and SG. So this is the axis of rotation. Axis of rotation. So if this is a bar magnet, consider this is a bar magnet, north pole to south pole, the field line should start from north to south, right? This is the field direction. If you consider earth is like a magnet, from the center the field line should come from north to south, that is with respect to the center, but we didn't receive the magnetic field from this point, so that's why it is named as geographic north. With respect to axis only we named as, actually we received a magnetic field from these 2 points. You may wonder by seeing this diagram, in bar magnet the magnetic field lines come from north to south. Okay, see this diagram, the magnetic field lines can start from south pole to north pole, right? South pole to north pole. Simply the nomenclature was totally wrong. In your NCERT they have given very clearly, there is some confusion. They have quoted with the statement, there is a confusion in the nomenclature of the poles. Okay, let's see how this happened. For example, this is a room, right? It is a top view of the room. Suppose you tied a magnet in this room. Through this pivot you tied one magnet in this room. So this is the north pole of the earth and this is the south pole of the earth. This is the north pole of the magnet and this is the south pole of the magnet. So the magnet, this magnet will rotate in this direction, right? Because south pole will attracted by north and the north pole will attracted by south. This is the real thing, but initially what they did means, it means the scientists did, in a room they tied a magnet at north pole and south pole of the magnet. Instead of magnet you may think as a compass. So the compass shows north pole in this direction and south pole in this direction. They named as it is. The north seeking pole is called north pole and the south seeking pole is called south pole. That is a mistake. But once north pole get attracted means this end should be south pole, right? And the south pole is attracted means that side should be north pole. That is a mistake here. You may notice it in your NCERT. But through that name only we designed a map, right? So there is no confusion to find the direction. That is, we designed a map for this nomenclature only, north pole, south pole, like that. We don't bother about the field. So he or she can want to go somewhere, that is like a place A, right? So the compass shows the place A at 42.5 degree. So they can follow the direction and they can reach the place, because there is no need to bother about the field line direction. For this nomenclature only we design map, so we can go along the direction and we can find the place. Clear? And there is an angle between the geographic north and the magnetic north. This name is called magnetic north, but in reality it is behaves as south pole, right? South magnetic pole behaves like north pole of the bar magnet, because from the bar magnet we can understand the field lines can travel from north pole to south pole, right? So north magnetic pole will behave like a south pole of the magnet. Listen carefully, I repeat. North magnetic pole of the earth will behave as a south pole of the bar magnet, and the south magnetic pole, this is south magnetic pole, will behave as a north pole of the bar magnet. So there is an angle between magnetic north and geographic north. That angle is called angle of declination. Angle of declination. So angle of declination is 13.3 degree. Okay. Now we are going to see magnetic inclination, right? It states that angle that the total magnetic field of the earth makes with the surface of the earth. Angle that the total magnetic field of the earth makes with the surface of the earth. It is denoted by I. So previously we seen that the magnetic field lines direction should be tangential, right? Suppose this is magnetic field lines. If you want to calculate the magnetic field direction for this point, it should be tangent, right? So similarly, I draw the tangent line in red color. This is magnetic field lines, right? This is magnetic field lines. So we know in general the schematic, actually the earth magnetism start from south pole to north pole, that is unlike the bar magnet. So this red color line indicates a direction of the magnetic field for this point, right? This point. So according to the statement, the angle that the total magnetic field of the earth makes the surface of the earth, and the green color line indicates the surface of the earth, right? So this is earth, this is earth. So now for the better understanding, I put the diagram here. This is magnetic field and this is the surface of the earth. So angle between these two vectors, that these two parameters is I, right? So I am going to take a rectangular component here, because this is earth surface, right? This is surface. So this is 90. Just now I drawn a perpendicular line to the surface 90. So through rectangular component we can say that this is hypotenuse. B is nothing but hypotenuse. Sorry for the inconvenience. This is hypotenuse B, and this is nothing but B cos theta, right? And this is B sin theta, because opposite side, right? B sin theta. Here theta is nothing but I, so we can write B cos I, because it is denoted by I, right? B sin I. So here what is the horizontal component? Horizontal component in the sense that is the surface component. Horizontal component HE is equal to, horizontal component is nothing but B cos I. Vertical component is denoted by ZT. ZT, E stands for earth, that is B sin I, right? So if you divide the two equations, that is 1, 2. 1 by 2 means B gets cancelled. So we can take tan I is equal to, reciprocal of this equation is tan I, sin I by cos I is equal to ZT by HE, right? ZT by HE, or we can calculate the angle of inclination is tan inverse of ZT by HE. Clear? Dear students, now we are going to see the topic magnetization or intensity of magnetization. It is defined as the magnetic moment developed per unit volume when a specimen is subjected to magnetized field. Magnetization is denoted by capital M or capital I. That is, magnetization is equal to intensity of magnetization, which is equal to magnetic moment per unit volume. Let us see this concept through an example, right? So consider this is our classroom, this is our 12th class, right? So before teacher arrival, we are going to see the condition before teacher arrival, after teacher arrival. It's a very easy topic. Teacher arrival, right? So consider this situation is in your break time. In your break time, you people used to talk, or you may go to refresh yourself, or someone used to play. Like that, imagine something, right? After break time, that is before, in break time, students are here and there because the class won't be in a regular class, right? So someone is standing outside of the class, like that. So after break gets over, teacher is step into your class. So what will happen? Immediately student trying to occupy their place in a regular manner, right? Occupy their place in a regular manner. After some time, or within few minutes, the class will be in a regular one, right? When after teacher arrived your class, right? Arrival of your class. So in the same way, we are going to explain what is magnetization. So consider this is a material A with the absence of magnetic field. Okay, hope you can compare. Here we assume instead of teacher, here you assume magnetic field, right? Instead of student, we assume a dipole magnetic moment, right? Instead of student, here magnetic dipole is there, north south and south north. North south. So these two conditions are same. Why? Because magnetic field is 0, right? Here teacher is not in our class. Like that we are going to compare. So put few more dipoles, north south, south north. It should be in a random manner, like that. Okay. So if I apply some magnetic field here, that is similar to the condition after teacher, after the teacher arrival, right? Apply to the magnetic field. Definitely, what will happen? The dipole moment will align in a regular manner. Magnetic field can travel from north pole to south pole, right? So here south pole mean the main dipole, the north pole will try to align towards south, right? So towards north, the south pole of the dipole, that is magnetic dipole, will align themselves. Like here also, north south, right? So hope you can compare. Now the material is aligned in a regular manner, that is dipole moment aligned in the direction of the magnetic field, right? So these, shall we compare these two conditions? After teacher arrival and after I applied some magnetic field, right? So, and one more thing, next come to the volume parameter. In this example, that is in this example, our classroom has some volume with the number of students, right? Like that, the material A has some volume with the number of dipole moment. Depends upon the volume, we should apply the magnetic field. For control our class alone, subject teacher is more than enough, right? For control the whole school, or to control the assembly, like a principal or correspondent, like that it need, right? Because subject teacher can control the class alone, because the magnitude of the power is directly proportional to control, right? So hope you can understand what I am saying. So depends upon the volume and depends upon the number of the dipole moment, we have to apply the magnetic field. So magnetization is equal to magnetic moment per volume. If suppose, see this diagram, only one dipole moment is not aligned in a regular manner, which means the magnetic field is not sufficient to control this dipole moment. If we want to make this dipole in a regular manner, definitely we should apply more magnetic field than this one, that is B dash. So for that only I said assembly example with respect to the class, right? Hope you can understand. Magnetization is equal to magnetic moment per volume. Magnetic moment is IA, that is product of Current into area, volume is nothing but volume of the material. Clear? Dear students, now we are going to see the topic magnetic intensity. The ratio of magnetic field in free space or vacuum and in permeability of free space. So for better understanding, before magnetic intensity we have to understand some other parameter, right? So consider a solenoid with n turns, per unit length is carrying current, right? So in this direction some current is going. So the magnetic moment of the solenoid due to each turn, which means what is the magnetic moment of a single turn? M is equal to Ia, right? That is each turn. So the total magnetic moment of the material due to all turn is M is equal to capital Nia, right? Capital N is nothing but total number of turns. Here A is the area of cross section of the solenoid and L, I is the total current, right? So magnetic moment, what is the magnetic moment? What is magnetization? M is equal to magnetic moment per volume, right? For this solenoid we are going to calculate the magnetization. So M is nothing but, here we calculated the magnetic moment for the total solenoid, right? That is total number of turns, Nia per volume. Volume is nothing but A into L. Here A is the area of cross section, right? So A gets cancelled, so the remaining term N I, current I, right, divided by L. So in our previous studies we studied small n is the total number of turns divided by length. So shall we write, instead of N by L, instead of this N by L, shall we write Ni, right? So what is magnetization now? Capital M is nothing but Ni. This is very important relation for the upcoming topics. From this two diagram we are going to study what is magnetic intensity, right? So this figure is nothing but air filled solenoid, which means it has the wire has number of turns with the air only. Inside the solenoid there is no medium, only air. So that is air filled solenoid. For this solenoid, in our previous study we calculated the magnetic field, that is B is equal to mu naught Ni, right? Hope you all remember. So we can write the equation as mu naught N by L. The small n is equal to capital N by L, right? So this is just a revision. For this content, this equation is no need. So mu naught Ni, B is equal to mu naught Ni, right? This is the solenoid. For come to this diagram, the solenoid which contain a core, that is the solenoid with the core. This is the core medium. So over the core I wound at the wire, right? So this core magnetization is not equal to 0, which means the core has a permanent magnetization. In previous video we study magnetization of the material is nothing but capital N is equal to capital M is equal to Ni, right? So here the total magnetic field is nothing but mu naught Ni alone. But here B is equal to, after I applied some current through the solenoid, the solenoid has one magnetic field and the material has one magnetic field, right? That is magnetization. So the total magnetic field for this diagram is nothing but B is equal to B naught. B naught stands for magnetic field due to solenoid, that is due to the current which we applied, plus Bm. Bm is nothing but the material core. So if I switch off the current, this B naught value will be 0, right? Because no current is travel in the solenoid, means the magnetic field due to the solenoid is 0. But we can never make the magnetization of the material core be 0. Even though you switch off the current, the magnetization of the core will have some value. So we never make the value 0 for this value. This is for your understanding, keep it in your mind. This is depend upon the production department. We could not do anything, right? Like that you may assume production department. So now we are going to calculate the magnetic field for this solenoid. So B is equal to, what is the, so after I supplied current, I am going to get the magnetic field for this solenoid, right? So for the solenoid, what is the magnetic field value? Mu naught Ni plus, what is the magnetic field for material core? That is mu naught Ni, right? So this I stands for material core. So just I put small m in the suffix, which means already we know this value, right? What is the value? Here we simplify. B is equal to mu naught Ni plus mu naught m. Clear? So shall we keep this value as B naught? B is equal to B naught plus mu naught m. So this equation is named as 1. So divide the equation 1 by mu naught. So the resultant is 1 divided by mu naught gives B by mu naught is equal to B naught by mu naught plus, here mu naught plus mu naught m by mu naught, right? So it gets cancelled. So the resultant is B mu naught is equal to B naught by mu naught plus m. So come to the definition. Here this is called intensity. The value is H. It is denoted by H. The ratio here, see, the ratio of the magnetic field in free space, right? Free space. Because this solenoid has free space only, that is air filled solenoid or vacuum, whatever it may be. That is, if we generate the solenoid, that is, if you conduct the experiment in a vacuum, means that is free space. The ratio of the magnetic field in free space and in permeability of free space. So this value is nothing but H. So the equation becomes B is equal to B by mu naught is equal to H plus m, which I can write B is equal to mu naught of H plus m. In your book, the equation number is 5.16. Kindly go through NCERT. The equation number is 5.16. Clear? So students, now we are going to study magnetic susceptibility and magnetic permeability, right? So you hope you are familiar with the term magnetization and the intensity. See, kindly keep it in your mind. Intensity of magnetization is different from magnetic intensity. That is very, very important. So don't forget it. So now we are going to see magnetic susceptibility. That is, magnetization is directly proportional to intensity. If I give more magnetized field, the material may get more intense, right? So M is equal to susceptibility. This is a symbol of susceptibility, that is proportionality constant. H is nothing but intensity, magnetic intensity. It is a dimensionless quantity. Through this susceptibility value only we can separate the material in terms of either it is para, dia, ferro, like that we can separate. In the upcoming topics we are going to study, right? So susceptibility is nothing but magnetization upon H. Clear? So in previous study, we have seen total magnetic field of the solenoid with the core element is nothing but that is equation number 5.6 in 5.16 in your NCERT. Mu naught of H plus M, right? So once again I am writing the equation number 5.16. So now from this equation M is equal to susceptibility into H, that is the equation is named as 1. So we are going to substitute the value of M into this equation. So B is equal to mu naught of H plus, what is the M value here? Susceptibility into H. So mu naught of H of 1 plus susceptibility. We can get H outside, right? So this is called magnetic permeability. So B is equal to mu naught into this 1 plus susceptibility is nothing but relative permeability, mu naught into mu or H. So in your lower standard class you may study the relative density. Relative density is nothing but this condition is similar to that definition. Relative density is nothing but density of substance divided by density of water, right? So in the same way we are going to study magnetic permeability. So mu r is nothing but magnetic permeability, and mu is the magnetic permeability of the substance divided by permeability of mu naught, right? So we can write mu is equal to mu naught into mu r. So here I put 1 plus susceptibility as mu r and mu naught mu r instead of mu naught mu r for this equation. B is equal to mu h, or again I am explaining, instead of mu what should we do? Mu naught mu r h. This is the equation number 5.19 in your NCERT. Kindly go through it, and these three quantities, that is susceptibility, mu r and mu, are interrelated. Only one of them is independent, right? Dear students, now we are going to see the topic diamagnetism. In diamagnetism, the individual magnetic moment of each atom molecule is 0, which means we have a diamagnetic material. That is, we have a material of A. This material is diamagnetic material, right? So here, each and every atom, the magnetic moment, that is M is equal to 0. It doesn't have any magnetic moment. Clear? When a diamagnetic substance is placed in a magnetic field, so we are going to apply some magnetic field, that is uniform magnetic field, to the magnetic substance. Here magnetic substance means diamagnetic substance, okay? Magnetic substance. So initially, the magnetic moment is 0, but now after we applied the magnetic field, a small magnetization will produce, but that magnetization occurs in opposite direction. So that occurs in opposite direction. So it will reduce the magnitude of the original magnetic field, right? So I will explain through some experiment, but again I repeat. So this is our original magnetic field, right? So if we applied to the diamagnetic substance, it will produce some magnetization, but in opposite direction. Before we applied the magnetic field, the magnetic moment of the substance, that is equal to 0, right? So shall we see through some experiment here? But you have to notice one important thing here. I am going to say a concept with respect to direction, but we will study in next chapter only. This image is taken from your NCERT, so you have to wait for some more videos to understand clear, but in a short way I will explain now. Okay, shall we delete this image? This is the image taken from your NCERT of 5th chapter. So next in chapter 6 we are going to study how the direction of current will be when we applied some magnetic field, and depends upon north pole and south pole we may get different direction of the current. That we will see in next chapter. Clear? So shall we see how these two magnetic field, that is these two magnetic field will repel each other through some experiment. Okay. When a person insert a magnet, so consider this is a circular coil. Please wait. Consider this is a circular coil. It is in a side view, not in a front view. So maybe this diagram is a clear one, right? Okay. When a person insert a magnet with north pole, with north pole, and this is south pole. So he insert a magnet with the north pole. So in this coil, initially the coil is in a neutral way, we didn't apply any external current here, but due to this magnetic field, a small current is going to produce. So for this concept only I said why this happened, how this happened, that parameters we are going to study in next chapter. So till that you have to wait, but keep it in your mind in a short way. When you entered a magnet into a coil, there will be a current, right? Some current will produce. Depends upon the poles, the direction will be differ. For this content, that is diamagnetism, the concept is very simple. A person insert a magnet with the north pole, anti-clockwise direction, current will produce. If a person insert a magnet with the south pole, clockwise direction is produced. That is very important. This is one of the famous shortcut. This is clockwise direction current, right? So this arrow mark indicates clockwise. So clockwise means south pole, right? So with the help of the arrow marks we can create the letter S. If north pole of the magnet is into the coil, means this is anti-clockwise direction. Clear? So this is side view, but for your convenient I am going to explain through front view, right? So anti-clockwise direction means, so this direction, right? Current is this direction. So if you place your thumb in this direction, the curved finger indicates a magnetic field. That is, this arrow mark will come towards your front body, right? It comes towards your out of the plane of the mobile, right? So if you place your thumb, the curved finger indicates the magnetic field direction. So these two arrow marks will come out of your mobile screen. So now we are going to put arrow mark for this diagram, right? If you tilt 90 degree towards a right side, mean we can put arrow mark for this. So for this, if you place your thumb here, means the magnetic field will go in this direction. For this thumb also, this direction, the magnetic field will go in this direction. So these two lines indicates north pole, right? The magnetic field can start from north pole and end at south pole. So this is also north pole, and the magnetic field which we produce due to the current is also a north pole. So north pole will repel each other. This is the diamagnetism. This property happens in the diamagnetism material. So Initially the magnetic moment is 0. Again come to the content. Initially the magnetic moment is 0. When you apply some magnetic field, this material will produce a small current. Due to that current, the material gives very minimum amount of magnetic field, very small. So compared to this field, that is external field, this field is very small. So definitely it will repel each other. So in your book there is a diagram like this. This is a material, this is your substance, that is diamagnetism material, right? Okay. If you apply some magnetic field like this in this direction, the magnetic field will repel like this. You may see in your NCERT. Clear? If you understand the concept with the help of the direction, the content is very simple. Kindly use your right hand for better understanding. Put your thumb along this arrow mark and see in which direction your curl fingers goes. Okay. If you place your thumb in this direction, your curl finger will come out of your mobile screen. So if you put, that is, thumb should be in the downward direction. That is very important, because the current goes in downward, right? Here if you place your thumb like a thumbs up symbol, the thumb should indicate the upward direction and the curl finger the curl finger comes out of your mobile screen, right? Hope you can understand. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Dear students, now we are going to see the topic paramagnetism. If you, in previous video, if you understood diamagnetism, it is very easy to understand paramagnetism concept. Which the direction is much more important to understand both these conditions. In diamagnetism, the net magnetic moment of the material is 0, right? But here the material which have non-zero magnetic moment, for example, suppose we have a material A like this, right? Material A. For this, the magnetic moment is not equal to 0, which means it has a permanent magnetic moment. Clear? So when we apply some magnetic field in your NCERT, this is for diamagnetism. Just I want to revise the diagram alone. Diamagnetism, this is a diamagnetic substance. If you apply a magnetic field like this, the magnetic field will repel. Not exactly all the lines, almost 95%. The magnetic field will be less from its original value. That's the content, right? So for paramagnetism, the diagram will be like this. So it attracts the magnetic field. So from that you can understand here the magnetic field lines are in a divergent manner, but here the magnetic field lines like converge, right? Hope you can understand clear. For ferromagnetism, it's a right time to compare all the diagrams. That's why I am telling ferromagnetism also. For ferromagnetism, the line is more denser than paramagnetism. It is more denser, because it is always ready to attract magnetic field. Iron is one of the best example for ferromagnetism. So come to the topic paramagnetism, right? So from this diagram you can understand what we are going to study, and in diamagnetism what we studied, right? So this is an external field. So now I am going to put the material A here. What I said, the material A have a magnetic moment, have some magnetic moment, right? Which means it has some magnetic moment on their own. when the material is subjected into a magnetic field, it will align in a regular manner. So the arrow mark indicates south, north, right? Which means don't think the magnetic field lines can travel from south to north. That is not a content. Okay, for your better understanding, shall we go to chapter 1? So this is electric field from positive to negative. Now you can understand very easily. Listen carefully. This is the external field. Plus to minus electric field can travel, right? Suppose I throw a dipole inside the electric field. Hope you are familiar with this concept, because in class we have seen so many times, right? If I throw a dipole, this is a plus q and minus q separated by distance 2a. If you throw a dipole over the magnetic field, what will happen? This minus will align towards plus, right? So this is our condition, minus will align in this direction and the plus will align toward this direction, because here to the right side you have a minus, right? Because electric field lines can travel from positive to negative. So what is a stable condition we studied? Minus plus. Clear? So the dipole moment will align in this direction, So this arrow mark indicates this one. Hope you understand. Don't think the magnetic field lines can travel from south to north. The arrow mark indicates a dipole moment direction. Clear? So again you have to compare this diagram. So here I am going to put two diagrams. One is from chapter 1 and another one is from our paramagnetism, right? For your better understanding. So this is our plus. The field lines can travel from plus to minus. This is minus. So if you throw a dipole, the stable equilibrium of the dipole is minus to plus q, right? So it's like that. This is the magnetic field lines, external magnetic field lines. The magnetic field. What is the magnetic field lines? Suppose this is north and this is south. So okay, we can simply like this, north to south, right? North pole to south pole, the magnetic field lines are traveling in this direction. If you place your material here, you have n number of dipole, right? So what is dipole moment? South pole, north pole, south pole, north pole, right? South pole, north pole. See, now compare. This side is north pole, and in a material, this side, the left side should be treated as south pole, because all south pole will align in this direction, that is left side, right? All north pole will align towards right. So opposite poles are attract each other, right? So north to south, so it will get the magnetic field lines. That's why the magnetic field lines are somewhat denser. Why I mean somewhat denser? Mean in ferromagnetism, the magnetic field lines will align in with more denser. Okay. Hope you can understand. I repeat. So when you subjected into a magnetic field, your material will align with some magnetic moment. The left side of the material will be treated as south, and the right side of the material will be treated as north, because the magnetic field lines can travel from north to south. South mean north pole will align in this direction. Left side north mean south pole will align in this direction. So it will attract the magnetic field lines. The magnetic field lines is attracted by the specimen. This is our paramagnetism, right? Dear students, now we are going to see the topic ferromagnetism. In last video itself we discussed something about ferromagnetism. So listen carefully what I am saying. In ferromagnetism, initially the domains are in a irregular manner. This is called domains, right? So this is called domains. So from your NCERT, I have taken this image. So when the specimen is subjected into a magnetic field, the domains will align in a regular manner, because when ferromagnetic material is placed in a magnetic field, large, this is very very important, large magnetization occurs. Large magnetization occurs in the same direction, that is in the direction of magnetic field. In the direction of magnetic field. So I am comparing for your understanding. In diamagnetism, magnetization occurs in opposite direction, so they get repel each other. In paramagnetism, magnetization occurs in the direction of the magnetic field, but it will be it is in the magnitude of it is in the value. In paramagnetism, magnetization occurs in the same direction, that is in the direction of magnetic field, but the value is very very small, magnetization value. In ferromagnetism, magnetization occurs with large magnitude and also in the direction of the magnetic field. So we can understand from this diagram. Magnetic field, initially the domains are in a random manner. After applied the magnetic field, these all domains will be in a regular manner. So the magnetic field will be more denser. So in your NCERT, they compared susceptibility value for diamagnetism, paramagnetism and ferromagnetism. Susceptibility value is diamagnetism is negative, less than 1. For paramagnetism it is greater than 1 but small value. For ferromagnetism it is much more greater than 1, which means a larger value. From the tabular column you can understand. And experimentally, magnetization of the paramagnetic material is inversely proportional to the absolute temperature, right? In equation 5.20 they have given the equation Curie's law, that is susceptibility is equal to Cu mu naught by 2. Susceptibility is equal to C mu naught by T. Experimentally they have given the equation alone, you can understand from your NCERT. And susceptibility and mu are depend not only on the material but also on the sample temperature. That is very very important. Diamagnetism is independent of temperature. Clear?